Hello, my friends, and happy Thursday. What a beautiful day we had today. It was like a perfect day in the low 70s, so pretty. And I hope this, I don't know, was that a segue? Not really, no. But I am hoping that you enjoy my project today. And we are going to be making Turquoise Mountain Earrings. And I have them, let's see, how do we want to hold them so that you can see both? Well, maybe I will do something like this. So I have them in both gold and silver to go with the Turquoise Mountain Necklace from last week. And I do apologize, our gold chain never came in, so we ended up making the rest of the necklace kits in silver. And I guess you guys must have liked them because they're nearly gone. I think we might only have one or two left. Well, either way, these are my earrings that go with last week's project, and I'm about to show you last week's project. So they're not a perfect match. Nothing that I do is like perfectly matching because frankly, it's not the look anymore. And personally, I don't prefer that they match completely, but they're close enough that when you wear them together, they are going to look very harmonious.
Vanessa says, hi, Irina and Tony.
Hi, Vanessa, and thank you for joining us, my friend.
Fonda says, good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Hi, Fonda, and happy Thursday to you.
Trudy says, hi, everyone.
Hi, Trudy. Okay, ladies, just to remind you of last week's project. So I know it's very difficult to hold like this. Believe me, it will look so much better around your neck. But just as a little reminder, this is what it looks like. And so you can decide for yourself. Is it a really perfect match? Is it, so this is pretty much what I like. I like it when it's almost a match, but not really. And it can be worn with other things, obviously, as well. But if you want to wear them together, I think it looks really nice. So here's what I did. Instead of using the oblong pearl, I used a rounded, almost a round pearl, but technically it is considered a potato pearl. And so I think it's just a little bit more in line with the size of the drops for the earrings at least. And I wanted the pearl to kind of float in this ethereal cloud of wire, if you will. And so it's clearly very lightweight, as was my goal. And you know, I'll tell you a little secret. You guys ask me all the time, people in the store ask me all the time, how do I find inspiration every week? And a lot of my inspiration comes from, what do I really want to see in my jewelry wardrobe? And very often I'll say, oh, I'm really looking forward to wearing these. And it's true. It's like when I look at my earrings and I go, let's see, what would I like? Oh, I would really love something that looks like this. So this is something that I love for me, and hopefully you love it for you. So I like lightweight earrings. And so I wanted something that is very lightweight with turquoise and pearls for summer, but yet has a lot of good visual weight. So visual weight is not going to weigh down your earlobes. Visual weight, it's only about the oomph, but not about the actual gram weight. So that's what I was going for with these. And of course, a little whimsy. And so here we are.
Bobby says hi, y'all, from Black Creek, Wisconsin.
Hi, Bobby from Black Creek.
And Patricia says good evening, everyone.
Hi, Patricia. Good evening. I'm hoping you guys had a wonderful day and are now having a beautiful evening. And I'm glad you're joining me rather than watching the presidential debate. It's much more, we're just going to keep it a lot lighter, we'll say. Okay, guys, and I think we're ready to start. What do you think? Should we just get started? This is obviously a fairly quick project, and yet you're going to learn a technique that actually I have not yet used in a video. This is obviously a slightly different take on organic loops. So yeah, this is very similar to organic loops, yet the organic element is there, the loop not so much. Well, no, the loop is there as well, but just a little different. So let's get started. I have my two little turquoise drops here, and this one is actually going to be my pair. And I will say, because we are dealing with natural stone here, these are all going to be a little bit different. In fact, you can see how the ones that I'm going to make for myself, they're actually not entirely the same shape, not entirely the same color, yet they're beautiful together. And I matched all of these myself, and I did, look obviously for things that are very similar, size-wise, color-wise, shape-wise. So as long as you are okay with just a little organic element, in the focal points as well as in the rest of the earrings, you're going to be happy with these.
Ellen says hi, Irina and everyone.
Hi, Ellen.
And Karen says good evening, everyone.
Hi, Karen. And I'm so glad you are joining us, ladies. Okay, so when you open your kit, this is a fairly minimal kit. There's not a whole lot to this project. And so when you open your kit, you will find 20 inches of 22 gauge wire. And the first thing we're going to do is measure approximately the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our 20-inch segment of wire into two equal segments of 10 inches apiece. And I have already done that. So now I am going to measure, and I have both segments of wire. You can see I have two right here. So I am going to measure approximately 4 inches. And I'm just going to do this at the same time with both wire ends. And you can do this with one at a time or both. And you know what? I'm just going to grab my cutter because I forgot to put it on my table. And here it is. And I also am going to grab a round nose pliers because, well, we're going to be using the bail making pliers for the bottom loop. We're going to be using something smaller, either the small bail making pliers or maybe not. Actually, no, I did use bail making pliers for the top loop as well. So we'll just stick to that. Okay, so now I have already measured 4 inches. That's where I'm holding my fingers. And using my flat nose pliers, I'm going to make a little bit of an angle. So this is almost a little bit too much actually, but we'll make it work. So given that we're not making a round loop, here, let me show you the shape of the loop. So the loop is shaped like a teardrop. It's a little more arty, it's a little more organic. And also with something like this, we need a specific diameter. And if we made it round, it might be a little too big, or looking a little bit too big for the shape and size of the teardrop. So I made this angle, and we're just going to call it, I don't know, is it a 45-degree angle? Maybe not quite even. Maybe it's a 30-degree angle. So either way, you can see, here's the visual. So it's a little more subtle. And now I am going to use my bail making pliers, and I'm using the medium bail making pliers, the larger side of the medium bail making pliers right here. And we're going to start making a loop just like that, but we don't want to go all the way up with our pliers, all the way up to the that angle, right? So we're just going to leave it something like this. You can see how that is half of our teardrop loop. And now, just as if it were a round loop that we're making, we're simply going to bring the wire, you see how I'm bringing it in by hand, just like that. And here is our loop. And you know, when you make earrings, even if you're not making matching earrings, unless they're completely non-matching, then you don't have to do them both at the same time. But if you want them to be somewhat matching, it's nice to do this a little bit on one, a little bit on the other, and this way you can compare. And so if I compare the size of these two loops, so it looks to me that I'm pretty much on the right track. So that is what I do for every step of the way.
Pammy J says, hi, Irina, Tony, and everyone.
Hi, Pammy J, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Allie says, pretty project on this lovely evening.
Oh, thank you so much, Allie.
Julie says, hello, I'll be visiting the store on Saturday. I signed up for the class with you, Irina. Can't wait.
Oh, yay, fantastic. Julie, you signed up for Fun with Molds. I'm so happy. We're going to have so much fun. And with molds, no less. Yay. Okay, guys. So I made both loops. At least I started both loops. And before I go any further, I will string my lovely turquoise teardrops. These are copper edge turquoise teardrops. I'm going to string them onto my wire and right into the loops. And then we are going to start wrapping. And so as usual, we're going to hold on to the wire with our chain nose pliers, and I am going to start by creating a tight little coil just at the base, just like that. So it could be 2 coils, a coil and a half, whatever it takes to hold the wire in place. So we're not making those big organic coils just yet. We are starting out by making a very, very snug little coil, just like that.
Althea says, hi, everyone.
Hi, Althea, and thanks for joining us.
Ellen says, question, why don't you bend both together?
You know, it's a great question, and yes, I could do that, but sometimes it turns out a bit sloppy when you do that. And so I actually prefer, you know, the first bend I did make with both wires together, But then the subsequent loop, I think it's easier to control the wire when you're just working with one wire at a time. But you could try. Okay, ladies, and I'm going to hold on to the loop again. And I'm going to start my organic coil. Actually, no, I'm not going to start my organic coil just yet. So I have secured the loops in place. The loop is not going to get unraveled. So everything is staying in place. So at this time, I am going to decide just how long I want to make these earrings. And I believe my longer sample, this one, is 2 3/4. And let's measure the shortest one, the shorter one, just to give you an idea. And when I say 2 3/4, or maybe 2 1/2, so the shorter pair is 47 millimeters. Okay, this is what it looks like, 47 millimeters. And the slightly longer pair is, I want to say 55 millimeters, which is just under just a little bit over 2 inches. So decide if you want a longer segment here or a shorter segment. You could definitely make them up to 3 inches and possibly even longer. However, do you really want to do that? So just decide how long you want your earrings. Okay, so when you wear them, they're obviously not going to get stuck. So if you like the idea, let's say, of making a 47 millimeter, I mean, they're not ever going to be exactly 47 millimeters, but let's say you like this length. So the length I have between the pearl and the top of the loop is just under 10 millimeters. So we'll say 9 millimeters. So if we wanted to replicate that, or if we wanted to make it a little smaller, a little larger, what we're going to do is measure out. So I'm going to measure 10 millimeters, right? So this is how I'm going to control the length. So I'm putting a little Sharpie mark right at 10 millimeters. And I will do the same thing with the other earring. And this way, even though our coils are never going to be identical, we're not even going to try for that. But the pearl is going to sit at the same height. So at least for me, that's a really good way to achieve the look and also not make yourself crazy in the process by making all the coils the same. Okay, so now we're back to coiling. And we're going to take this wire as we're holding on to the loop with our chain nose pliers. And we are just going to start creating this very loose coil around the center wire, right? So it's like we're just using that center wire as an axis. And sometimes I will literally use my fingers like this to almost sculpt the wire. And do you see what I'm doing? I'm actually going back down. So do you see how I went back down with the wire, and I'm crossing the wire over because I'm going for that very organic look. So what you'll find is that when you start crossing the wire over and then you keep coiling, the wire is not going to want to cooperate. It's just not. And unless you re-grip it right at where the wire overlaps, you are going to start making that coil tighter and tighter. So if you want to keep it nice and loose and organic, make sure you re-grip and then continue. So that is the secret in making this organic coil and making it very kind of airy and light. And so I'm going to continue coiling. And again, the further I get away from where I'm holding, the more uncooperative the wire gets. So again, I am just going to regrip where my wire intersects. So you can literally regrip anywhere you want where the wire intersects, like here or here. And just as you do it, hold on to it in a very light way. Okay, so I'm getting very close to my little Sharpie mark. Can you guys see that? Can you see the little Sharpie dot? Okay, so there's this little mark right here. You know what? This is kind of an important part. So let me make it a little bolder. So, can you guys see the Sharpie mark now?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm getting pretty close to the Sharpie mark. And I'm going to want to make a tight coil before I get to it. Okay, so I am starting to really tighten my coil. Okay, I'm trying to keep my fingers out of the way, but sometimes it's a little hard. Okay, so there it is. And let me just tighten the coil. And we're going to cut off the excess wire. And as usual, we're going to want to tuck that little tail in. So now it looks like that. So that is about half of our earring. And now I'm going to string one of my pearls right on. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Okay, and we'll do the same with the other earring just to catch up. So we're going to create that organic coil. So again, we're just going to start with that really loose coil with the coiling wire around the central wire. And if the coils are a little bigger than you like, just go ahead and give it a little squeeze. And at some point, I'm going to want to cross over, and maybe this is that point. So I go back down because I like that kind of a messy organic look. So I crossed over, and now I'm going to want to regrip my wire at the overlap, at any overlap really. And now we go back in the upwards direction. And if it's getting a little unruly, we can always resculpt it with our chain nose pliers, just like that. And then as you go up the wire, you're going to want to move your chain nose pliers again, regrip, and make that tight little coil. And whatever you do, don't grab on with the very, very end of your chain nose pliers, because A, it's very difficult to hold on with that, and B, you're more likely to break your wire. And again, we're just going to cut the excess wire off. and tuck in that little tail and string our pearl on. Okay, ta-da! So we have now 2 earrings that are about halfway done. Ta-da! Okay, so now, again, you know, when it's just me working on pieces like this, I really don't bother measuring just about anything. But if you want to measure it out, you are most definitely welcome to do so. And I'm just going to bend the 2 wires right now, just by eyeing. And so yeah, sometimes I will do both at once and sometimes I won't. Okay, so actually one of my wires is not facing in the right direction. So what we're going to want to do is, you know, let me show you the finished earrings. So this loop at the bottom is perpendicular to our drop, but this loop at the top is parallel to our drop. So that means that the loop we're about to make needs to be perpendicular to this loop at the bottom, because otherwise, of course, it's not going to hang very correctly. So I hope that made sense. Please let me know in the comments if it made any sense whatsoever. And so now I am, oh yeah, I was going to do this both at the same time, but you know what? It is a horse apiece. It really doesn't matter how you do it. And now I'm just measuring the second earring against the first, and we're going to make a little angle. So again, the angle is very, very subtle. So if I had to guess, it's like a 30-degree angle. And it looks like they're pretty close enough, I would say. And now I'm going to use, this time I think I'll use the smaller part of my bail making pliers, the smaller jaw of my bail making pliers, and start making the loop. So it's just like when you make a round loop. Once you get to that question mark, all you do is just use your fingers to bring it all the way down. And you may need to kind of play with it a little bit, but I'm going for maybe a slightly more slender loop at the top. And that is why I'm using the smaller side of my bail making pliers. And before I commit to the size and the shape of these loops, I'm again going to look at them side by side and make sure that I'm still happy with both of these loops. And it looks like maybe one is just a tiny bit larger. So we're going to roll it in just a tiny bit. And now it should be pretty similar. Yes, very similar. Okay, and so guess what? We're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to start by holding our loop. And I know traditionally we have these round loops, so don't let this teardrop shaped loop throw you, but we're going to treat it the very same way as any other loop. We're going to want to coil a couple of times nice and tight so that it holds, and we'll do that with the other earring. Just like that. And now we're going to play. I mean, this is, you know, this is just about playing with your wire. So you just coil it nice and loose. And I think of it as almost kind of treating it as a sculpture. So there's nothing you can do that is wrong. So whatever you want to make larger coils, great, let's make larger coils. You want to make smaller coils, also great. You want to overlap multiple times or cross over multiple times, you can do that as well. So just remember to continue moving your pliers as you go and keep regripping so that you can still control your wire. And now I am right at the pearl, and you can see, like, if I don't regrip, it's just going to tighten into the teeniest little coil, just like what we're used to seeing when we create wrapped loops. So since we're not making a tight wrap, I'm having a little bit of a difficulty just getting into that small little space, but that's okay, we can do it. And that's it. That is all there is to making these earrings. And now I'm just going to cut off the excess wire. And tuck in the end.
Fonda is wondering what size wire you are using.
Oh, thank you, Fonda. I love that you asked, because I did forget to say it is 22 gauge wire, and it has to be half hard, because otherwise all those lovely coils that you make are just not going to hold. So 22 gauge half hard wire. And of course, since we're using base metal wire, it's never going to be labeled as half hard. It is, it's all about knowing the brand. And the brand on this is Beadsmith. So now I am going back and overlapping. Okay, so I can cross over. And now I'm just going back in the same downward direction. And I'm going to re-grip the wire. And cut off the end. And if you wanted to, you know, when you look at your two earrings, if you wanted to move the coils around a little bit, or maybe reshape them a little bit, just very gently, you can still do that. So you see how I just rounded out one of my coils? So you can do that. Or maybe if you want to maybe pull something down, pull something up, you can definitely resculpt the wire. And here are my two earrings, and now all I have left is just attach a couple of ear wires to them. And that's it. That is all there is. So I opened a loop on one of my ear wires, and now I'm just going to look at my earring and see which side I like best. I'm thinking, because remember, these are two-sided, obviously. So I'm thinking I like this side, or do I like this side? I like them both, honestly. They're so beautiful. And close the loop. And we'll do the same to finish the other earring. And this is very quick. It's a super quick project. Although as far as earrings go, I'm sure you've made quicker earrings before. And this is what it looks like. So again, we have the silver and the gold, because I know some of you have the necklace kit in silver and some of you have it in gold. ta-da, this is what they all look like.
Allie says, so pretty.
Oh, thank you so much, Allie.
Althea says, love them.
Thank you, Althea. So what are your favorite? Is it the gold or is it the silver? We had a little debate about gold versus silver with the ladies in the store just the other day. And no, I'm not going to tell you what I said until I hear from you. But, gold is definitely coming back. It's actually very much back. It's being shown everywhere in the stores, and a lot of people are wearing gold. But what are your favorites? What do you wear gold? Do you wear silver? Do you wear other metals? And for these earrings, do you like the gold or the silver?
Fonda says, so cute.
Thank you so much, Fonda.
Trudy says, cute.
Thank you, Trudy.
Kathy H says, silver. And Allie says, silver is my go-to.
Yeah, me too.
Althea says, love both silver and gold.
Yay, thank you. So we went kind of back and forth, and one of the ladies who works here said that both of her daughters wear gold. And, when you open fashion magazines and whatnot, there's a lot of gold being shown. But what I said is that traditionally, in the art jewelry, so not costume jewelry and not fine jewelry, but the art jewelry, which is what we're making, I feel like there's a lot more silver, both actual sterling silver, fine silver, and also base metal that is silver tone. I just think that is just how it is. It seems that a lot of people just like silver, who like to create kind of like what we do. But of course, a lot of us wear both silver and gold. I personally love mixed metals. Even with silver, I love just a touch of mixed metal. And for me, that copper edge really does it, mixed metal wise. And so this way, if you like mixed, you can wear even the silver one with both.
Vanessa says, I tend to wear more silver in spring and summer and more gold and copper in winter. Not sure why.
Oh, good to know. You know what? It's actually, it is seasonal, and it doesn't even mean that it's just those specific metals that everybody changes to those metals seasonally. But I see that trend, like people buy more copper in the fall, for example. And, well, guess what? The project is done. So it's that time. You know what time it is. It's time for previews. So first of all, before I read the previews, I would like to tell you that we are not going to have a video next Thursday or next Friday. So please be sure to put this on our calendar. Do not tune in next Thursday or Friday. Go watch the fireworks. Do something fun. Have a picnic. Celebrate America's birthday. And so now let's talk about what is happening. So tomorrow we still have one video, which is tomorrow, before the 4th of July. I just like to start talking about it a little early so that if you don't watch me tomorrow, which of course I hope you do, but if you don't end up watching tomorrow, please know that we're going to skip a week and then we will be back. Okay, so now, tomorrow, of course, we have our Friday morning marketplace, also known as Facebook Live Shopping event. And I'm just showing you a little teaser. So I'm going to have some gorgeous lampwork glass. And this is a rarity. Let me know if you know who the artist is. And so lampwork glass, we're going to have pearls and vintage, as well as vintage reproduction beads. These, ladies, these are vintage Swarovski, and they're absolutely delicious. And this, of course, is happening tomorrow, Friday, June 28th, at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time on the Eclectica page. And again, it is tomorrow at 9 a.m. So that is our last video before the 4th of July.
Vanessa says no sale next Friday. I can save a little money until next time.
No, wait, no sale next Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We'll have a sale in the store if you happen to come in, but no event next Friday. Because we are celebrating the 4th of July by going up north. And you know, when you're in Wisconsin and you say up north, everybody knows what that means.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, it all, you know, it means you're going somewhere beautiful where there are lakes and rivers and forests and just beautiful scenery. And so that's what we're doing next weekend. And then, but wait, there's more. So you may have seen the preview for Silk Road bracelet. And oh, look how nicely this plays with my other bracelets. This is fun. So this is a redesign of the Silk Road bracelet. And you might remember it from a while back. And it changed, it morphed, because guess what? Since the days of the other Silk Road bracelet, we have discovered these absolutely gorgeous Kingman Mine turquoise and
Pyrite, spiny oyster.
And spiny oyster beads, yes. And I don't know why I was thinking, you know, I couldn't think of spiny oyster. I kept thinking spiny lobster. But no, it's not lobster, although it does sound delicious. But not lobster, but oyster. So this is the redesign. And so we're doing this not next Thursday, but the Thursday after, which is going to be July 11th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on my jewelry design page, which is where you're right now. And this is so far in the future, you guys, but there is a reason I'm telling you about all of this. Okay, so then 2 weeks from now on Friday, so not the 5th of July, but the 12th of July, I'm trying not to confuse myself also. We're going to have another Facebook Live shopping event. This is when we come back, and it's going to be very, very exciting. We're going to have furnace glass beads and sterling silver clasps and charms, and I'm sure many more other things which are yet to be decided on. And you can actually be a part of that. You can affect that decision by letting us know what you would like to see in the video. But in the meantime, that's the plan. Furnace glass, a little bit of silver, and of course, lots of fun surprises. And so the reason I'm telling you about all these events, which are going to happen in 2 weeks, is because we do have them set up already, right?
Yes.
So we have all of the events.
Sure to RSVP.
Yes, exactly what Tony said. Please do RSVP. And you know how sometimes Facebook is a bit naughty, so also put it on your calendar. Set an alarm because, you know, 2 weeks is a long time. And I just don't want you to forget about us.
Bobby says, LOL, beep when you drive by. Going up north. We'll be sure to do that.
Oh, yay! Where are you, Bobby, up north? I know you just said it.
Black River Falls.
Black River Falls. I know about Black River Falls.
That's west of where we're going to be.
Oh, gotcha. If anybody knows where Three Lakes it's Three Lakes are or Three Lakes is. It's a town of Three Lakes. Where be Three Lakes?
Yep.
So anyway, if you guys know about Three Lakes, that is where we're going to be. It's very, very close to
Eagle River.
Eagle River, yeah, where we see lots of eagles as we kayak, and it's so beautiful. Okay, ladies, so that's it. That is all for today. Maybe we'll put this necklace here as well, just to remind you why it is that you want to buy these earrings.
Fonda says, I love Three Lakes. I used to go up there every year.
Oh, yay, Fonda.
Bobby likes Three Lakes too.
Oh, yay, I'm so glad, Bobby. It is such a lovely, lovely place. And we're going to spend time with our friends who live there. And we're just so excited. Okay, ladies, so in the meantime, I hope you join me tomorrow for the shopping event. And as always, we'll have a great time. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your awesome comments. And if I don't see you and don't hear from you, have a wonderful 4th of July. Enjoy.